Well, you kind of stepped into the price side of this. So there's been a few questions come in. The first one is, so you talk about having to post, whether it's 40%, you can post a bond, but someone asks if the value of what you're sending, so maybe this coffee cup that I have here is the best coffee cup in the world and I want to take it on a sample, but maybe the coffee cup only costs $10. Is there a value of goods that you think makes more sense to, so is there a floor on the value of goods that you're sending on a Carnet? Or if the goods are $10, you would still recommend a Carnet? Or where does that kind of cost start to break even for someone that wants to move their goods on a Carnet?
I would say it all depends on the de minimis requirements in the country you're entering and when you're returning back to the United States. Because if you still, let's say it's a $10 coffee cup, but I'm not sure what, let's say, Indonesia's de minimis rule is. I don't know what the de minimis requirement, but hypothetically say they have no de minimis, and you still have to go through a formal entry posting, then the Carnet makes sense. But if you're going to come into the United States with a $10 cup and the de minimis is $800, well, there's no reason to, you are exempt from filing any formal entry anyways. So that really is, it all depends on the country of destination.
That makes sense. So on the opposite side of that, is there any value limit for a Carnet?
No, not at all. We've seen it all.
What's the largest Carnet that you've seen so far?
Well, it depends on whether it's the commodity ratio. So the $4 million book written by J.K. Rowling, Tales of Beedly Barb, it was leather bound with silver ornamentation and appraised at $4 million. That was kind of a shocker. Yeah. I had to actually verify that it was legitimately a book worth $4 million before we were able to approve the release of the Carnet. So like I said, we've seen some crazy situations. There is no minimum and maximum because while the Carnet does replace duties and taxes, it also replaces all the other hassles of what you need to do to enter a country temporarily. So it's really weighing up what your odds are. Now, if you're telling me you're taking a car to Canada once, you're not going to need to post more than 15% to enter Canada. That's max going in. So I would say if you're going to Canada once only for sure, I would recommend not using a Carnet to go to Canada if it's one trip. Now, if you're going to Canada twice, then the Carnet immediately makes sense because you don't have to post a bond twice. You already have one Carnet. And those are honest conversations I'm happy to have because, and this is something I have spoken to the council about while going to Canada. The maximum anybody has to post is really only 20% of the value, yet the council's requiring 40% plus the cost of the Carnet. So it makes it cost prohibitive, really, going to Canada once. But the minute somebody goes to Canada twice, like a touring rock band, they obviously use Carnets because it's so much easier.